you're waiting for the show to start, make sure y'all hit the like button. Sub to the page if you're here for the first time. Drop a comment with your fantasy take or your bold prediction, and let's get these championships. We go over start-sit decisions weekly, trade questions, live mock drafts throughout the offseason, and answer a ton of questions throughout the year. So make sure y'all show some love. Even if you disagree with what I got to say, just know we put out the best fantasy content right here on JHEN Fantasy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to JHEN Fantasy. Today, we're going to be talking about fantasy stacks. Everybody talks about stacking in fantasy football, but we're going to get to when you're supposed to stack, the kind of stacks that there are in fantasy, and also some of our favorite stacks for the year. With your boy Justin Henry, obviously on my other side over there, I got my boy Laquan Jones. What's happening?
What's good with it, bro? We in another sparring match talking about these pancake stacks, bro. Man, listen, there's some folks out there that's making some nasty stacks, but hopefully we can help some folks out here to get that bread this year.
The ones who got here early, Gabe, what's good, my boy? How you living, man? Teddy, what's popping? You said, can't wait. Got to hit that like button. Y'all make sure to hit the like button. We're also going to mock draft today, too. So if you were like, hey, Jay, are we mock drafting? I know it's mock draft season, so we're going to get them mock drafts in, too. Let me know what settings you guys want while we're going through the show. But to get things kicked off today, you hear it all the time. I'm going to stack. I'm going to get my stack. I love stacking my roster. And I think in fantasy football, this is one of them things, Quan, where not everybody knows what stacking means. It doesn't just mean like getting all the players from the same team. For those who have never heard of the term stacking, that's typically what it means. It means you want to find players that are on the same team and you can get a bigger portion of that offense. But it's also important to know, when is it appropriate to stack? Laquan, man, talk to me, because you got best ball, you got redraft, you got dynasty. All I hear is, oh, man, I got my stack. I'm good to go. Talk to me. When's it appropriate to stack?
Now, it's appropriate to stack when it makes sense, first of all. Like, it has to be it has to start with one of your first picks. Like, you have to build the stack somewhere, right? So, like, for instance, like, I think the best stack out there, obviously, is the Bengals stack. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, T. Higgins, etc. Now, how you want to formulate that, obviously, you're not going to be able to really form that stack with Jamar Chase probably being the number one off the board. So it's like one of those things like, all right, well, if I can't get Jamar Chase, I can get T. Higgins, I can get a Chase Brown, and I can get a Joe Burrow. Reason why you want that stack, reason why I believe that's the best stack and why that's an appropriate stack is because Joe Burrow threw the ball 652 times last year, folks. That defense is still trash. So there's plenty of pie to be split and be guys out there be able to eat and produce on your fantasy roster. So it has to make sense. It can't be on an offense that has this high upside. Can't be stacking Panthers players this year, man. There's no upside there because at the end of the day, we still don't know what Bryce Young is going to be. So that's how I appropriate some of these stacks out there that make sense. I mean, just where you at with it?
I agree a lot with that, man. And it's funny because I think people are like, hey, you got to stack the whole offense. It's not about stacking the whole offense. It's about finding a win when you know you can raise your ceiling, right? That's what stacking does, especially when you talk about like quarterback receiver stacking. It enables you, when the quarterback has a big day, your receiver has a big day, right? And there's also other positions too. You can stack your running back with your quarterback. You can stack a running back with the receiver. I really like stacking your quarterback with your tight end, especially in best ball leagues. And you can kind of navigate like, okay, I know if this is a high-scoring offense, like you talked about Cincinnati Bengals, it's what we've done with the Chiefs for so long. When you talk about like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, there's ways to increase your output and increase your ceiling. And I know it's the sexy thing to do in redraft, but it also does come with a little bit of floor. So I think it's more appropriate in those best ball settings when you're really trying to maximize your weekly output. You're trying to maximize your season-long output as well, and stacking up those top offenses. Now, you mentioned one thing about like the Carolina offense. In best ball, obviously, like they're not the strongest offense, but there's some like underrated offenses that go a little bit later. Are you making it a point to say, hey, I'm only getting the top offenses in a best ball league? Like I'm trying to stack, obviously Miami with like with Jalen Waddle and Tua JHEN, or are you looking for some of those mid-tier offenses that have potential? Like, you're talking about maybe that Minnesota where you got a Jordan Addison and JJ McCarthy stack. Talk to me about your strategy when it comes to stacking.
So there's some mid-tier stacks where I feel like there's a cutoff right now. We could talk about Tampa Bay. That's obviously like a favorable stack, but then you got to pay that price for Baker, So it's like if you're going to commit to the stack, it has to be a stack that you were talking about where you have that type of floor. So it's like there's teams out there that I probably would want to take a chance on, like the Jets and stuff like that, like Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall. So when you're looking at some of these bottom tier like teams, and you try to just pick the weeds of like maybe I could stack the quarterback and tight end. For instance, I'm high on Daniel Jones. I'm probably the highest guy on him, being that that might be a nice combination with a Tyler Warren. So like that would be the cutoff there, where that stack will be a 1-2. It wouldn't be a 1-2-3-4. Like how some of these other.
Yeah, and I think that's something to mention too, is like how many pieces of an offense, because once you get to like 4 or 5 players on a stack, it's overkill. You done way too much.
Bro, I've seen it done in redraft leagues where I'm like, yo, y'all are wilding. Like, I'm a huge Rams fan. Like, I wasn't taking no Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, and Cooper Kupp off the board with Greg Zuerlein as my kicker with the Rams defense. I've seen it done. And I'm just like, yo, you're bugging, my dude.
Them damn Cowboy fans, I know they do it. I know the Cowboy fans is out there.
Yo, they are the worst.
Dak, CD, Ezekiel Elliott still.
They taking wide receiver 3s as backup stashes. Like, cuz, what are you doing?
What's going on with you, man? But I think that's the one thing is like positionally, you have to be able to think about that aspect as well. So when it's appropriate to stack is when you're looking for high upside. Maybe you're in a league that rewards upside. You're in a PPR league, especially when it comes to the receiver. You can have those big games along with it, even if they don't score a touchdown. Or you're in a best ball league where you're really trying to maximize your output. So just a few cases right there. I also want to talk about the different positions. I kind of alluded to it a little bit, right? Like obviously the highest output one typically is quarterback receiver. Right, because there's so much, that goes together there. Right, there's a lot of correlation between points. If your receiver does well, your quarterback does well. What is your favorite position to stack in fantasy? Is it the quarterback receiver position?
It's either the quarterback, wide receiver, or is it quarterback, running back? Now, for instance, a couple years ago, Alvin Kamara and whoever the quarterback was, if it was Winston, Derek Carr, that's like a solid stack because Alvin Kamara is the function of this offense. Now, for quarterback, wide receiver, it has to be the wide receiver 1. The only exception is the wide receiver 2s like Devontae Smith, Jordan Addison, T. Higgins, obviously in that tier. It has to be the 1 if I'm going to do it. Or years prior with the Chiefs, a function of that offense was obviously Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. So you have to understand how the offense functions before you even jump into the stack. So I'm not going to jump in the stack, for instance, let's say Tennessee. I'm not going to do Cam Ward and let's say Chikakonku. Like, you know what I mean? Like that just wouldn't make sense as a stack. Like obviously you would do Calvin Ridley as the 1 as the function, but I've seen stacks where guys are looking for the upside. Guys are hyped on this rookie. Guys like Rashad Bateman, or I would never do a Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers stack. I would never do a Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman. There's teams out there that are high power offenses, but those stacks don't make sense because Green Bay, Jordan Love, who are you stacking out of Green Bay? There's the impossibleness of that wide receiver core to do that with, but I would say a Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs stack will kind of wouldn't make sense, because Josh Jacobs can function on his own to have those big games. Jordan Love, he could possibly have 13 fantasy points while Josh Jacobs has like damn near 25. Those are realities. So it's understanding the function of the offense. What makes this motor go? What is the focal point of this offense? So
love that.
Very important. Very important.
Love that. It's the function of it. It's what. How does the offense move? And I think you mentioned it with Green Bay. One of the things that everybody does is, like I said, you go quarterback receiver. That's typical. And a lot of times people do go for the wide receiver 1, but the wide receiver 2 normally isn't a high enough scoring output to justify stacking, especially most of the time people stack, it's because they're reaching to get their stack as well. So that's an important note, is if the stack falls to you, maybe there's a little bit of value there. But for the most part, you don't want to go reaching to go get the stack unless it's that elite. We're talking elite. 3 to 5, maybe maybe 3 to 5. I don't know if I got 3 to 5 off the top of my head right now.
Facts, because I was about to say a stack that you were just alluding to that falls to you is the Bear stack, and this is a stack that a lot of people are fearful of because of Caleb Williams and the season he had last year. But folks are not reading between the lines. Like last year was a very good season for Caleb Williams. If my rookie look, if Jared Goff came out as a Ram 2017 and had that type of season, or 2016, my bad, I'll be happy with that. Or if Bryce Young had that similar type of season, we'll be happy that he has something to build. Caleb Williams has fallen into my lap. You have DJ Moore, one of the most underrated, underappreciated wide receivers, going at wide receiver 22, 23. You have Tetairoa McMillan going before him in drafts. So that's a stack that you can get huge value on, where the ceiling could be raised from last year with DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, and Caleb Williams. Like that's one of my favorite three combinations if I do want to expand through the 1-2, where I can go 1, 2, and 3, where all these guys are at value.
Yeah, and if you miss on DJ Moore, Rome is right there too. And I know we don't like going twos, but it's like he could be the one this year, you know? So
Rome can fit in that tier that we talked about with Devontae Smith and Jordan Nelson. He can fit that perfectly.
And it's, you know, that's the thing is, like, you also talked about Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love, right? So quarterback, running back. There's also the running back receiver dilemma, right? Like I drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round. Should I take Drake London? I've got that a lot. Or like I took Saquon Barkley and somehow AJ Brown fell to me. Is that a good stack? And we don't chase the stacks, but when it falls to you, it's a good thing. And at receiver, running back, one of the key things is that it provides a really high floor, especially if you're in a high-powered offense. The reason why it does that is because if you know a team scores a certain amount of touchdowns, if you also have the number one receiver and the number one running back for that, chances are you're going to get some points. It does limit your ceiling a little bit because now you don't have a 4-touchdown score out of your running back and a 4-touchdown score out of your wide receiver 1. So you have to be able to manage that. And then with the rest of your lineup, if you took, if you erred on the side of like upside, make sure you get some floor players later. If you went with the floor stack earlier, get some upside. So I think knowing what kind of stack you have is very important as well.
Yeah.
In best ball, though, Laquan, one of my favorite ones to do is quarterback tight end. I love it. Do you ever do quarterback tight end stacks?
There's only 3 that I could think of, and that's obviously Lamar, Mark Andrews, you have Travis Kelce, and obviously Patrick Mahomes. But that third one is always a wild card because it changes every single year. Like you can go Brock Purdy, George Kittle, but that's not sexy, but that's not even consistent with all the pass catchers they have there. But then there's other teams out there, like maybe a value play on Geno Smith and Brock Bowers, like I do like the quarterback tight end stacks, but not all of them are home runs. Not all of them have safe floors either, where, it could bottom out and it can go left. So I kind of stay away from that in my priority of favorites of doing that type of strategy because there's not many quarterback tight end stacks that have that high ceiling that I can get from a quarterback wide receiver stack,
I really only apply quarterback tight end in best ball. And especially like if you ever do the weekly winners series, or maybe you're doing a DFS lineup, I think that quarterback tight end is one of the key values because if your tight end scores, that means your quarterback's typically gonna have a good day and you already are gonna be ahead of most people because tight ends don't typically score unless it's National fucking Tight Ends Day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yo, that was crazy last year, bro. Right? I was like, start everybody. Where Irv Smith at, yo? He should have been out here. Like that's how I was looking. Like, damn, where everybody?
I feel like everybody on National Tight End Day scored, man. But if they have a big day, now the rest of your lineup is stacked, And so I think that's when I look for some more underrated stacks. You talk about like a Jordan Love, a Tucker Kraft. I know we don't like it, but a Michael Penix, Kyle Pitts. We talk about, I know.
Duh.
Had to talk about it, though. I had to throw that one out there. Jared Goff, Sam Laporta. There you go. A little bit more palatable, right? So you want to talk about some of those quarterback tight end stacks. It's ones that have touchdown potential and big game potential in best ball leagues. I don't think it necessarily implies in redraft. So if you're here for redraft, here's what I think. I think if you're going to stack a team, running back, receiver, it makes you a little bit more, your ceiling a little bit lower, floor higher. Quarterback tight end or quarterback receiver gives you a little bit higher ceiling on a weekly basis, will probably make you a little bit more inconsistent. You agree or disagree with that? Are we on the same page?
Agree. We're on the same page with that, yeah, because quarterback tight end, it could bottom out quick. Like if you went Jared Goff, Sam Laporta last year, you're probably very upset because you didn't get those Laporta highs that you thought you were getting his rookie year. And again, I don't think that's a bad stack. It's just like if things go wrong, It's going to go wrong every single week.
If you're going to do a tight end stack, you should at least take somebody with the high upside, like at the back end of your draft, and you better have a better tight end ahead of him. You better have a better consistent tight end ahead of him. So if you're going to take Dalton Kincaid this year, you better David Njoku, somebody else in that top 10-ish range that can at least give you a nice floor.
And the crazy thing is, I'm not mad at the folks that want to draft Dalton Kincaid, but you hit the nail on the head. Make sure you got a guy that's going to be at least consistent. Like I say this all the time. I just need 10 points from my tight end on Sunday.
Hey, that's it. Double digits.
That's it. Look, I'm happy as hell when I check. All right, 10 points, we good. I ain't
double digits for every position is a winning formula in fantasy football.
And folks be greedy, bro. They be wanting like 15, 20 points from their tight end, bro. I'm like, that's not realistic, man. Not realistic.
One of the best ball late round stacks that Ryan here likes is Drake May and Hunter Henry.
Sneaky.
I'm actually not mad at this though.
Sneaky, because Hunter Henry has a high red zone presence. Like last year was unbelievable about the season that he had just based on expectations. Like nobody was talking about Hunter Henry. Like nobody was talking about Zach Ertz. These are guys that were going undrafted, tight end twos in some leagues if you're deeper. But this is a sneaky stack right here because I think there's a chance that Hunter Henry could be the number 2 target option, but still be a number 1 option when it comes to the red zone.
Yeah, I like this stack. And they were talking about getting Hunter Henry more involved this year. Obviously, Drake May expected to take a leap up this year, right? So
expected, yeah, you said that right.
Expect is always the word. We'll see what happens, but Hunter Henry has been a mainstay, and obviously new offense under Josh McDaniels. We'll see how he runs it, but Hunter Henry could be a sneaky play here at the tight end position. I want to actually talk one that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and it depends on who the quarterback is. But in best ball, a lot of times it's an 18-round draft, right? 18-round draft. So you can save like your last 2 or 3 picks and get a sneaky stack, right? Especially if you have multiple lineups. Most people in best ball do more than 5-10 lineups. They do a shit ton of lineups.
Yeah.
Tyler Shook and Juwan Johnson. How are you feeling about that one? How are you feeling about that? Last 2 picks.
My dog, listen, both of these guys are literally, you could wrap up your draft with such a sneaky stack there because, like, again, it's question marks on Tyler Shook, but you're not risking anything. Like, you're sitting here free money at this point where, like, the upside, he could literally be a high-end QB2. And then Juwan Johnson, being that he has such a heavy red zone presence, and since there's some plans for him this season, I do like that stack because you're not risking anything. Juwan Johnson's going undrafted. Tyler Shook is probably your QB3 in the best ball, where it's just like, whatever, let's see what happens, you know? So I'm with that. That's a sneaky one right there.
It is sneaky. Well, there's a couple right there, but let's talk about our favorites. I want to get to like your favorite stack. So we'll maybe go like 2 or 3 deep, see how far we get. What's your favorite stack to go? Because it's obviously like Joe Burrow and Jamar.
Yeah, outside of them, everybody's going to do that one. So, like, outside of that, I love the CD Lamb and Dak stack. That's always going to be elite to me, no matter. You cannot shy me away from Dak, being that his ADP is wildly disrespected every single year. So, CD Lamb, being that you're paying a high price for him in those early rounds, you could just wait until your quarterback 1 be Dak and then watch on Sundays how those points multiply. Obviously, the Ram stack. I mean, I got to mention my boys. Like, that's a nasty stack right there if you really want to get to it, because if I'm wrong about Kyren Williams and you end up going Puka or Devontae Adams and you stack a Kyren Williams there where he's going in the 3rd round and wait for Matthew Stafford, where my expectations is 2021 Matthew Stafford, where he finished QB6. That is an insane stack because it's like guys are down on Stafford, but not really looking at the reality of this offense because it's not reflecting, obviously, what the fantasy streets think of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams going in the first 3 rounds. Yeah. So, again, that's a liable stack where it's cheap, but the ceiling, it gets raised each and every time we get closer to training camp, where we keep hearing these reports. Sean McVay wants to get more versatile. Terrence Ferguson, man, great at disguising his route running, and he's a red zone threat. Like, all these reports are getting me excited as a Rams fan, but folks in the fantasy streets should be paying real attention to this Rams team because it's dangerous out west right now.
Bro, I've been doing so much of either Devontae Adams or Terrence Ferguson with Stafford. Sometimes I'll get all 3. I think that could be crazy on a
that could be crazy.
A random week where it's going to pop off for him. So
what?
I just think it would be like where Stafford throw 4 TDs and 2 of them are Devontae, 2 of them are Ferguson. Like, I could see that happening.
Yeah, man, definitely. And I don't think folks are awake on that.
They're not. You know, one of my favorites to stack, it's if you can get them, is Brian Thomas and Trevor Lawrence. You have to really believe that Trevor Lawrence is on the ascension. and that he could be the quarterback that he was a couple years ago, but better, right? Like consistent with Liam Cohen. You got in 2 receivers in there, so you have to believe in Trevor Lawrence. But I think the upside with Brian Thomas, you got Brenton Strange in there who could play a big body over the middle. You have Travis Hunter now. So who knows how he's going to be utilized this season. And then you got some reliable weapons too. Talk about Diami Brown, a receiver who can just at least get you some yardage there. I just think that there's this Jacksonville offense has a little potential. And if you hit with Brian Thomas, if he really is a wide receiver, the top 5 receiver that we think he can be, then Trevor Lawrence is probably supremely undervalued right now, going outside the top 16 quarterbacks. So one of the ones that I really like getting Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, because I feel like when things hit for Brian Thomas, we're probably talking about Megatron type numbers, like 202 touchdowns and shit like that. So give me Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas.
Trevor Mid-Lawrence is going to have to play some good football.
He ain't mid.
Trevor Mid-Lawrence going to have to play some really good football to get inside that top 12. I have a hard time right now just based on what we've been left with. And again, I say he's
mid. I call Theo Johnson mid, and you give me backlash. And then Trevor Lawrence is mid now.
I ain't give you backlash. I'm like, come on, dog. He had to be healthy. And the same thing with Trevor Mid. He got to be healthy. Team Mid got to go out there and give us a type of performance that lives up to his name coming out of college. Like, I'm going to hold him accountable because, again, that John Elway comparison, the Andrew Luck comparison, that was heavy, hard, every single day pounding in our heads. And then we cop excuses for this dude for the last 4 years. Coaching. He got the coach now. Now, if he don't deliver, and this is including injuries, if he don't deliver, where we at with it? That's my biggest red flag.
I'm gonna give him a chance because he's entering his prime. A lot of quarterbacks don't. We've seen this with Alex Smith, Jared Goff. There's been quarterbacks who have been number 1 picks, and it takes them a little bit of time to get acclimated to the game. So the team still believes in him. They signed him to that fat deal, and everybody was like, "What's the difference between him and Daniel Jones?" But I think Trevor Lawrence. I'm
gonna just chill, man. I can go on and on about Trevor Mid-Lawrence, but
I'm
gonna let him cook.
Any other sneaky stacks? Anyone that you're looking at really late, potentially like much later in the draft? You're like, you know what? Whether it's running back, receiver, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, quarterback, is there any that you're looking at? You're like, you know what? I don't mind taking a swing on this thing a lot later in the draft.
You know, I mess with Bo Nix heavy. That's my dude, bro. It's Nix tape season. This stack, I feel like it's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's very low risk. Like, I like the Bo Nix, Evan Ingram stack if I was going to go quarterback, tight end. I like the Bo Nix and maybe even Cortland Sutton, being that there's a high touchdown upside for Sutton and Bo Nix to connect again this season. I mean, honestly, you could take the risk and you can add a third player to that stack, but I think you might be not having that safe floor if you want to go with Pat Bryan, or even if you want to throw RJ Harvey in there. If I'm wrong about it as high as I am, I'm still not comfortable throwing that third stack there with the RJ Harvey or Pat Bryan. I know it sounds good, it may look good, but then I think the safe floor you have is at least with Evan Ingram, who's the joker of Sean Payton, from his word of mouth. There's actual plans for him, and we know what Evan Ingram can do with volume. So I think that's a sneaky stack that a lot of people aren't really considering in some of these drafts.
That is, man. It's one of those things you have to kind of look for that. And one of the things that I tend to look for is what offenses are supremely undervalued right now. Like, where are these like super discrepancies in offenses? And I think one offense that it could bounce back, and I've had a really hard time with this offense, but Seattle, Kenneth Walker and Cooper Kupp. We talk about floor plays. Like, I know Kenneth Walker and Cooper Kupp both have had trouble staying healthy, and that's the biggest component here is, can they stay healthy? Yeah. But, like, if you can get those two, maybe even Darnold, if you're going super flex, you can take Darnold and Kupp or Darnold and Kenneth Walker. I think this offense, if it hits, provides a lot of rewards. Sam Darnold was excellent last year. Cooper Kupp on a per-game basis before the end of the season was actually excellent last year. Kenneth Walker, typically on a per-game basis, is a top 12-ish type back.
Yeah, fact.
If it hits, you're talking about, okay, that could be the stack that now takes you to a different level team-wise. So I kind of like the stacking Seattle players. I don't like stacking them in my division, of course, but I like
those the ops, bro.
Yeah, they are the ops. Hey, but I got to keep a real fantasy. Hey, I care about my fantasy team. Straight up.
Facts.
Let us know y'all favorite stack, man. Another one that came in was Fields and Garrett Wilson or Marv and Kyler. I don't mind
You already know how I feel about Kyler and Marvin, bro. Like that's a wait and see, man. I'm not willing to invest. But Fields and Garrett Wilson, man, like I'll play. You know, we are degenerates. We in best ball league since the Super Bowl ended, bro. Like we jumping in and out. So like I feel like I can invest in some leagues with Fields and Garrett Wilson, but I'm not expecting like a ton of yards, a ton of touchdowns and stuff. I think Garrett Wilson gets over that 1,000-yard mark, but probably live in between like 1,100, 1,200 yards. Like it's not going to be anything crazy.
When I talk about chasing the stack, I think that's the one issue with the Marvin Kyler stack is that you really got to draft Marv early, and then you're going to get to a point in the middle of the draft where either Kyler falls to you by chance, or you kind of got to reach to take him and be like, I want Kyler right now. Because you never know who in your league. If there's 12 people in your league, there's probably 3 of them that really love Kyler, and then the rest hate him. So you don't know who you're going up against. So I think with that Kyler Marv stack, it's probably a little harder to attain. Whereas Garrett Wilson, people kind of fade him. A lot of people don't believe in Justin Fields as the thrower, so you might be able to get him a little bit later. I think the Marvin and Kyler stack offensively will be better, but I think the Fields and Garrett Wilson stack is probably more ideal from an ADP standpoint.
Facts.
Jags is sneaky on a play against Hunter, Thomas, Law, and Strange. I don't mind that either, bro. Because you get Strange late enough. In best ball, you get Strange late enough to where
I'm seeing Strange where Jake Ferguson getting drafted. Like is Cade Oddins. Like that's the force you win at that point. So that's not a bad stack. But again, you already know how I feel about that boy, that T mid boy right there.
Yeah, T-Law, man, it's T-Law. T-Law. I agree with you. If he goes through the season and struggles, I'll be really disappointed with T-Law. He'd be like, yo, it's but he's got
a wrap.
What do you do?
It's a dub, bro. It's over. Just get him out of there, bro. It ain't the coach. It's him.
T-Law, you gonna be wrong about T-Law. I've been saying this for years, though. I've been wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I got too much of Brian Thomas Jr. last year, brother. I got too much of him in Dynasty because I know you remember pre-draft, folks was talking about Brian Thomas Jr. like he wasn't really him. Like he wasn't coming from the wide receiver university. So
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, he might be a little light this year because the offense had other weapons. And then when I saw, and it's the importance of watching preseason, it's the importance of watching training camp and knowing what the scout, what the beat writers, not believing everything, but when you see smoke, a lot of times there's fire. They was hyping up Brian Thomas, and I saw those deep shots. I was like, oh shit, he's about to be a problem.
That boy wingspan is crazy. Even if you overthrow it, he still got the speed to catch up and the length pause to go get that joint.
You got that pause in there, bro.
I seen you. You was posturing to say something. That was wild, though. Yeah. I caught it, though.
It's good, bro. Because I ain't gonna. I'll get you sometimes. I'm gonna let you off the hook, though. You know what I'm saying? We be talking football, and sometimes it'd be like a lot of guys. We throw guys around a lot. We throw like drafting on top of, and so it's like you gotta be kind of, unless it's like wild,
bro.
I know what it is.
I be hearing some wild stuff and no pause follow that.
Hey, that on the mother shows,
dog. I'm like, you heard yourself? You feel comfortable with what you just said?
Yo, I like Lamar with likely. I think Andrews could fall off fast, and he's not getting 11 TDs this year.
Now
I don't mind this one.
Now, I've seen people saying that the Mark Andrews regression is coming with the touchdowns, but I don't know. He still has a red zone presence. Lamar is still always going to look for Andrews no matter what. Like I think a lot of people are looking at that failed 2-point conversion a little bit too much. Like Andrews that was bad, bro. Like he cried in the car when that happened.
He probably cried on the sideline.
But Andrews is still part of this offense. Like I'm drafting likely just with the sense that maybe back in the season, they're both on contract years. Like they want to see who they're about to invest in. But when it comes to the red zone, I'm always going to draft Mark Andrews in best ball because there's likelihood he falls into the end zone. It may not be 11, but that boy going to get those looks.
Nice little pun there. There's likelihood. And you know what I'm saying? You kind of were already alluding to it. For me, I think likely is more worth a dart throw than Andrews is earlier at cost.
He's not expensive, bro.
He's not expensive. And I said the same thing about Rashad Bateman last year. One of the things John Harbaugh came out and said, he said, Rashad Bateman is going to have an incredible year this year. And we view him as our wide receiver one. And John Harbaugh, he's a coach that like he speaks, and a lot of times maybe it doesn't always come to fruition, but I think he speaks with like authenticity. I think he means what he says. And he said something earlier this offseason. He said, Isaiah Likely, we want him to have an all-pro season this year. All-pro isn't just like That's not Pro Bowl. That's not like
all
pro contract year is crazy because that means you got to be one of the best 3 tight ends in the AFC.
That's 1,000 yards for at the tight end position in a low pass volume offense. That sounds wild.
And so if he's saying that, that means to me, even if he's not, maybe he doesn't fully pass Mark Andrews, it means he's going to be heavily involved in this offense that already has Zay Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, they have weapons, but I think they're going to use him a little bit more than they did last year. So I do like Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
It's likely
he started out the gate great. Like I'm thinking like, oh, this about to be something, man. But being that the contract, both of them are in contract years, they have to make something shake and see who's going to be the future, you know? So
you're either riding with Andrews for another 2-3 years, or it might be likely that there's a tight end change. Yeah, I'm dragging it. Jalen and AJ stacked work well for me. AJ Brown still, I don't know why he's wide receiver 10 is crazy for a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league.
AJ was on pace for 1,400 yards last year, and people forget that boy was top 5 the year prior. Like, what are we doing?
I'm telling you, 1,400 the year before that. 1,400 the year before that. It's like 1,400 yard pace this year. 1,400. I think we just tired of AJ Brown, but this is definitely a league winning stack. As long as Saquon ain't running for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns a game.
Bro. It ain't happening.
How are we feeling about Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson stack? I actually love this stack. I didn't go enough into it, but I really like this stack because if Justin Fields is who we've seen him be in the past, then Justin Fields is going to smash QB 5-7. Garrett Wilson's going to smash top 5-7 wide receiver. Like, this could be way better than we even thinking.
Yeah. Most definitely. I think the culture change over there. I honestly think that they got the right offensive coordinator in there. I won't say Ben Johnson's prodigy, Tanner Strand. I'm just going to say the influence is there, and obviously the direction they want to go with the offense is going to run around Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. So that's going to be an offense that might surprise some folks this year, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got the Lions passing game coordinator too. I keep forgetting his name, Tanner
Strand. Engstrand.
Engstrand. Yeah, there you go. So
he was in the building
offensive coordinator there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think they're going to open things up, bro. Like, I feel like they just don't have a wide receiver too. So I'm like, if Garrett Wilson is 90% of the player that he should be this year, like, it's going to be a fun season.
Add to the stack, Mason Taylor. He's probably going to go undrafted. I honestly think this. I'll predict this about Mason Taylor. Like, he's probably going to be one of the early season waiver wire ads. Like, people are going to be dropping a large chunk of fab on him because I think there's actual initial plans for him as well, being that there's still some type of Detroit Lions influence in how they use Sam Laporta, TJ Hawk, and et cetera, et cetera. So he might be a sneaky guy to add to the stack as well. But again, he's probably going to go undrafted in most leagues.
And who was the guy? Stone Smart. They added Stone Smart this offseason. And he had a good season. I was thinking when he first signed, I was like, oh, shit, that might be a sneaky play there. But those same things now apply to Mason Taylor, who's going to be a better tight end and probably get the starting gig. So just watch out who gets the starting gig. But right now in best ball, Mason Taylor's probably as cheap as he's going to be the entire season.
Facts.
I'm thinking of trying a Bryce Young and Tet or Thielen this year. So the one thing is with this, it's if you go Bryce Young, even in Superflex, there's just not a whole lot of upside. So unless you think Tet is going to be wide receiver, a top 15, top 20 receiver, like you're not going to get the most out of that stack, you know? Even like Xavier Legette, who goes a lot later, I would prefer to just take a dart throw on that because it's so much later. It's free. Yeah. Thielen even maybe, but it's just not a whole lot of upside in general in that offense unless something crazy happens with it. So if you're going to do something like that, you might as well look like CJ Stroud, Nico, or you can't get Nico that late, but trying to, you might as well go like a little bit lower.
You can get Stroud. You can get Stroud. You can get like a Christian Kirk or Jaden Higgins, but that seems a nasty stack for me. Like I'm probably not going to stack in Houston. Like last year we could have stacked, you know, because there was a debacle between ADPs between the 3 wide receivers, but I still would prefer in best ball like a CJ Stroud and Tank Dell stack, you know. If
you're going to do Bryce Young and Ted, you might as well do Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley. Because Calvin Ridley goes after Cam Ward, I think is either right there or after.
That is going too high, man. Like why receiver 21, like he's going before DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, and like it seems nasty, right? Like I'm not the only one that's tripping.
Yeah, I don't get it. I honestly I would love to be on board with like Tet as a wide receiver 3. I'm like, yo, I think he could be a high upside wide receiver 3 on a weekly basis if things hit. But I'm also like, they drafted Leggett in the first round last year. Like, this offense isn't a 4,000 passing yard offense. Why the hell is Ted McMillan going?
This is
like,
what we talked about earlier in the show. There is not much upside there. Like, there's too many red flags.
Hey, too many. All right, yes, we are going to mock draft. I'm going to send over the link right now. Got to mention Allen Coleman Kincaid too, especially if Cook sits out and they just throw. My guess says Cook plays, but I actually don't mind. I don't mind like getting Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, because there's so much upside there. It's just you got to take Josh Allen super early and hope and pray that nobody else takes your stack.
He had the highest press percentage last year, brother, and he cannot separate for jack squat. And like, I am against wide receivers that can't separate, because
talking about Keon Coleman, right?
Yeah, Keon Coleman. Like, I just have issues with his play style. You know, like, he's a big play receiver, but it's like he got to be able to make the big plays. He got to be able to create the space. And like, at least with Drake London, he could box you out. You know what I mean? At least with Marvin Harrison putting on muscle, he could physically get. Have you seen
Keon Coleman? Keon Coleman put on some muscle too.
Hey, he got to show me, because he did not look good last year, and he got to stay healthy. He was banged up. Let me cop some plea for him, but he got to look better than what he put out there.
I think he's, to be honest. Oh shit! It's because I had this league at the top. I was like, why are these settings hella off? To be honest, I think the reason why I like Keon Coleman is because if you take a little bit of a leap up and you become a different type of receiver, he had a really nice stretch there in the middle of the season before he got hurt. So I'm thinking, okay, if you progress as a receiver, which a lot of players do, why wouldn't he make a year 2 jump? Separation isn't always an indicator of like, Mike Evans used to have terrible separation metrics, and it's like he was able to prevail as that same type of receiver. So
he was physically able to dominate, though.
We're going to see.
We'll see. Because at the end of the day, hold up, we didn't even talk about Shakir. Why is Khalil Shakir not in this stack? That's a safe floor.
He could be.
I will replace Coleman for Shakir then, because I can hope to hit that upside.
But you got to take Shakir, like probably 4 or 5 rounds earlier?
Then Coleman? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I would say that's maybe the only issue with that one. All right, I'm sending over a link right now to you.
Bet.
Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like the stream. We are going to be doing a mock today. We're going to do a mock with 12 with 2 flex. We can do 12 team with 2 flex. 12 team with 2 flex. I'm going to take spot. What spot should I take today? Laquan, give me a spot today, bro.
9. I'm going 7.
I'm 9 then.
I'm going 7. Put that gap between us. I'm trying to see how something shake in the middle, you know?
Let's go. All right, here we go. I think they were looking good last year. They're a sneaky team. I can't remember. Oh, talking about Carolina. Maybe.
I mean, look, Adam Thielen was a top 12 wide receiver coming back from injury. Like, I get it. Bryce Young looked good with his guy, but it's a new year. New bodies in house, you know? Like, it's one of those things that doesn't always carry over.
All right, so we're going to do a 2 receiver. So draft settings for today, we're going to do 2 receivers. Or 2 flexes, 3 receivers, 2 running backs, a quarterback. We don't do if you're looking for kickers and defenses, we don't do that on this channel.
Boo.
Just take them last picks.
I'm trying to get kickers and defenses out of my home league with my homies, bro, and they getting on my nerves.
I know. I mean, I guess it's fun, but like there's no rhyme or rhythm to them. You're just kind of like praying. I mean, we do that with the players enough.
Like, it's -1 if you miss a kick with your kickers in our league. The chances of a defense getting blown out, you get negative point. Like, I don't want to draft a defense. Like, I don't. Like, kicker, cool, but a defense, I'm off it, bro.
And it's just like it really doesn't matter who the better defense is. It's like who scores the touchdowns. That's really what it comes down to with defense.
Who has a defense? Exactly. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here, Brad. Without the stack, man, the stack conversation is good. I want to see what kind of stacks come around. I always end up drafting, like, for years, for the last probably 2 years before this, I've been finding myself, I always get like the Tampa stack. I was running up with like Baker and Mike and Godwin for some reason. So
those are 2 entities that can coexist on the same offense. Like, we've seen it for years now, and Baker playing his best football right now. So again, I'm not mad at that.
Damn it, we should have talked about that because that is, I would say that too. In PPR leagues, it's okay to stack receivers. We forgot to talk about that.
That's one
That
of the
part to
things
me
that
is, I think it's okay if you have a strong enough receiving core. Like if you had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to pass on T. Higgins just because you have Jamar Chase. Or if you have a high-powered enough offense, like I'll take Olave and Kamara. Like even though the offense isn't high-powered, it's like they can stand alone no matter what. So I think it's also important to know, like, if you have PPR leagues, they stand alone.
You got to identify that. Not many people identify the function, how we were talking about with these stacks. Like, it has to be the function of the offense to be included in the stack. It can't be a guy that you're hoping and praying for. Tip McMillan.
Hoping and praying and wishing and hoping and praying. Can't do that, man. How y'all like it, man? You guys, so let me ask y'all this in the chat real quick before we get into this mock. Y'all like the little structured setting beforehand and then a mock? Because I know we can always mock draft, but we got to get real shit out sometimes too. And it's tough sometimes during the mock to get y'all real content too. So do y'all appreciate the real content beforehand? Would you only want that as a standalone video? Like, let me know how y'all feeling. So that way I can make this experience a lot better for y'all as the season progresses. So let me know what y'all think, man. If y'all just want me to do whatever, y'all just want me to run the show, which I'm probably going to do anyway. I ain't going to hold you.
You asking rhetorical questions.
I do be asking a lot of questions, dog. All right, mock drafts. Here we go. I got to share this link real quick. Share the link to the Discord. We got 3 spots left. What you got on the agenda this week, bro? What you before training camp? What you into?
Bro, man, I'm trying to sit here and get these rankings done, bro, because I want the pre-training camp rankings, and then I want, obviously, during all the mess when everybody come back outside and make the proper adjustments. So I just want to see where my rankings are before we get into the midst of the fantasy season, even though it officially started. But let's get these rankings and tiers right and get some folks that had the early drafts, early July or mid-July. I mean, late July, whatever the case may be. So help them folks get these rosters right.
I would say that's the number one question I've been getting is when are the rankings coming out? And when's the draft guide coming out? TBA or TBD? TBD.
Yeah.
But TBA no.
To be announced.
To be announced. It to be determined, man. So we have how many spots left? 3 spots left.
Where?
3 spots left.
Thing is, too, I had a post-draft, like post-NFL draft rankings, and I already see some changes for me where, like, obviously J.K. Dobbins, he comes up a little bit, and I'm not really afraid of Nick Chubb there in Houston with Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is a crazy value now, even with Nick Chubb there. Who else moved down? There were some other free agent moves that happened after the draft.
Aaron Rodgers signing. And he still hasn't been adjusted yet. He was top 15 last year.
He was. And again, it's one of those things. It's like it's the fantasy streets boogeyman over there, man. It's that Arthur Smith. I don't know how that's going to, like, honestly, think about it. How do you think this is going to gel together? Like, I think Arthur Smith, his science, his crazy science of this offense that we have not seen deployed yet because he hasn't had a quarterback like Desmond Ritter's like sitting here with freaking what's his name, Taylor Heineke. Like these are the quarterbacks he had to work with to try to get this offense to the next level. But I didn't even like what I saw last year with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, to be honest. So you insert Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure what we're gonna get.
The thing is with Rodgers is this is his last year, and I know he didn't hit 4,000 yards last year, but like with DK, I really like getting DK with Aaron Rodgers, and he has, I think. When you get a Jonnu Smith, we saw what he did in Atlanta with them last time, right? With Arthur Smith last time, and in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure they were
a lot of quick passes. To
get him in space. So
get him in space,
I feel like this offense though is really kind of ground and pound, keep things safe. So
how do you feel about DK as a guy to get the yards after the catch though? Because I don't see the deep ball in Aaron Rodgers anymore. Like it's been on a steady decline, like completing less than 40% of his passes last year on passes 10 plus air yards, and like 22% of his passes were behind the line of scrimmage last year. It's kind of like he's forming into this different quarterback, that I'm not comfortable with as a fantasy manager.
Yeah, I think a lot of that had to be attributed to that offensive line, though. He had to do that. And he was dealing with coming off of that Achilles early in the season. It was his first year back. So
Yeah.
I think we will see some deep ball from Aaron Rodgers. But even when it comes to DK Metcalf, like I'm more so hoping that we see the touchdowns, like more so than the yards. I don't think I'm going for like 12, 1,500 yards. I think I'm more so looking at like, can DK be a 10 to 15 touchdown guy? So I think it's a little bit more risky when you take DK Metcalf, but the upside for me is like 1,215. Like that would be crazy, but I think that could happen with the way Aaron Rodgers throws the football.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. And then Jonnu. I feel like Jonnu's probably being a little underrated right now after the move.
I did 14, yeah, because Pat Fryermuth is out of there. He's
he
cooked.
done.
He's cooked. He's cooked.
He done.
7 touchdowns last year is cool, but yeah, my brother,
cooked. He done. I've been missing so many mocks. Hopefully I get in. Speak your pence. Hopefully you got in, or your piece. Speak your piece. Hopefully you got in.
Oh, the 10th spot. The 10th spot, he better jump in here.
10th spot, yes. 10th spot, somebody got to get in. Somebody got to get in.
The most fun and stressful triple stack.
Let me see if I can get
Murray, McBride, and Marvin Harrison. That is
stressful. How you feel? You really just are out on this Cardinals offense.
I'm not comfortable. And again, like us as in division ops, we've kind of seen this Cardinals offense up close for the last 2 years. And Drew Petzing is the problem. I mean, the offense is boring, and like they constantly do things where it's like, why aren't you updating the playbook? Like, why are you not running more 3 wide receiver sets when Greg Dortch is your most reliable wide receiver? This ain't a Greg Dortch campaign, but it just shows that they're not using the playbook correctly. They're not using their players right. Michael Wilson should be your deep threat. He should be involved more. He should be making more of an impact, but he's running out there as a decoy most times. Like, he's not an impactful player because he's not being used as such. And again, my problems with Kyler, he's vowing to run more this season. We've seen him run more last season, the most he's had since 2020. Cool, fine. Keep the rushing upside, but connect with these pass catchers. Connect with Marvin Harrison. Connect with Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, et cetera, et cetera. But Trey McBride not having touchdowns is a Drew Petzing and Kyle Murray problem,
Yeah, hopefully they figure this offense out because they have the weapons. It feels like they need to kind of go back to the drawing board and be like, hey, we actually have weapons. Let's use them instead of trying to like play this cautious ass offense. I don't get it.
Yeah, man, this is his last. I think Drew Petzing's last year as the offensive coordinator is probably. Yeah. He's on the hot seat. He's
definitely on the hot seat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get this thing going. 3 receivers, 2 flex spots, single QB draft. We are getting this thing rocking. All right. Draft is started. Marvel have a breakout year. I truly, truly believe this. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it that I said that now. And I said it kind of early in the offseason when his ADP was outside of the top 20 receivers still. Yeah. And then best ball started happening and he climbed up to like the top 15. And now I hear every single analyst say it. And normally, if I hear every single analyst say it, that means I'm wrong.
Fade the streets.
So I'm kind of concerned. I'm still taking Marvin. I still think he has the same upside that I talked about. It's just I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to like preseason and what the offense looks like. Like what are they doing with the offense during these preseason games? Not even how does Marv do? It's just what does the offense look like during the preseason? I'll be paying very close attention to that.
Absolutely.
First round here, usual suspects. Who you trying to get here at 7, man, outside of the top 6? Because the top 6 are going to go.
Right here, being that they got 7 seconds, I could probably say they're going to panic pick. They probably going to go Gibbs, but I want Puka or Neighbors here. See, this is exactly what I want. I want Puka or Neighbors here, and I'm going to go Neighbors.
Well, shit, I'll let Gibbs fall to me, bro. I'm not taking Puka that high, bro. You know what? We got to talk about that real quick. I'm gonna go Brian Thomas here. B time. BTJ. Somebody said that.
Believe in Trevor Lawrence. You don't even care, bro. You proud of it, man. Yeah, say it with your chest.
I do. Hey, I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna be elite this year. But I've been saying that for years. So I gotta scale back.
You on Puka, man. That is such.
But
on Puka.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. His ADP has plummeted since the offseason surgery news. Yeah. But it's also like I think everybody's kind of expecting like a slide in this offense, bro. Like, are you kind of moving him down your board as well? Are you keeping him in the same spot? Like, talk to me because he was going as a top 7 pick almost unanimously to start the drafts.
So the thing with Amon-Ra, like he's been a top 5 wide receiver 2 out of the 3 years with Ben Johnson. And the 1 year he didn't, he finished as wide receiver 11. This is still top 10 territory with the wide receiver that's going in the mid to back end of the first round, where he is literally the function of the offense. He is Jared Goff's most reliable wide receiver. Now, he's a guy, hold up, I'm on the clock.
Yeah, you on the clock. You good. You good.
Okay, we good right here. I wanted London so bad. We talked about Reek. We already, he top 5, bro.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
He's a function of this offense, and I keep pounding the table about this, where even if Jared Goff regresses somewhat of last season, Amon-Ra is still going to have volume. Volume is king with talented players, being that he had a freaking 80% catch rate last year on that amount of volume. He led all wide receivers, by the way. It's one of those things where you have to believe in the volume, you have to believe in the talent, regardless who's calling the plays. And I think Amon-Ra, out of any of the pass catchers or any of the Lions players that you want to draft, he's the safest. So I'm not moving him that far down on the block.
He's been going outside of like the top. I would say he's dropped to like second round, at least an underdog. When that's not tip. I don't think that's going to happen in redraft. I think the redraft guys will get him.
No, it might. It might. He's not a household name, believe it or not. He's not in the CD lane.
I mean, but he's been 1,500 yards pretty much outside of last year. He's been 1,500 yards pretty much every year, and it feels like 10 plus touchdowns is on deck too. But like, I feel like this year it seems like they're talking up J-Mo a lot. You got Ben Johnson gone now. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, tore it up in the second half of last year. It's just the Lions offense doesn't necessarily need to lean on him as much as they did in the past. So I'm kind of concerned about him. Even my offseason rankings, I had Brian Thomas over him and Malik Neighbors over him. And so St. Brown is right there. I kind of feel like that's a spot for him, is right after those two, because they have a little bit higher upside.
No, I definitely agree. Because that off-season surgery and him potting twice a week is one of those things like, oh, bro, you ain't tapped in for real.
Yeah, podcasting. When they start podcasting, the level of play seems
when they start chatting twice a week. Come on, brother.
Kelsey, Michael Parsons, injury starts stacking. Podcast Pete is a stack only for quarterback, receiver. It doesn't include running back too. It includes running back as well. So if you go quarterback, running back, or running back, wide receiver, that is a stack. Any offense, pretty much that stack together is a stack, I would say.
Facts.
We talked about Ashton Jeanty, right?
Yeah, we touched on him a little bit. Like, and here's the thing: his price right here, acceptable. He ain't going in the first like I've seen him. Like, he's the 4th running back off the board, essentially, but he's not in the first round. I'm cool with that. Yeah. I
was talking with Chris Allen yesterday. Yeah, he came on the show and he likes Ashton Jeanty.
My guy, man.
Yeah, he's dope, bro. And I was talking to him about Ashton Jeanty, and I'm like, the only thing I see is like if everybody's kind of taking Brock Bowers early, the Raiders offense, unless there's this big jump in productivity out of this Raiders offense, like how much are we really expecting? And the touchdowns, I have a concern, like, is he going to get 8 to 10 touchdowns, or is he going to be over 1,000 yards? Like, his goal is 1,500 yards, but like he kind of at his ADP going in the first round of a lot of drafts, he kind of needs to hit like 1,300, 1,500 yards to be up there with Gibbs and Barkley and Derrick Henry, who had 1,900 yards last year. Just some of these guys that have immense upside. It's like he has to have way more yardage or be significantly more involved in the passing game than we're thinking of. And I know people hate this and are probably going to be like, JHEN, you don't know what you're talking about. But they brought over Raheem Mostert. And it's like Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, they will run 2 backs. It's not like they will just only run 1 back. So that's where I'm a little bit.
That's definitely in Pete Carroll's wheelhouse. But I would say a personal opinion of Jeanty, of what he can be, he's a 300 touch type of running back. I don't think he's a Chris Carson, what we've seen in the past of them trying to run that 1-2 punch with Seattle. Like, I do think he's in that tier of a Marshawn Lynch that you could just hand the rock off and let him go. Like, I think Raheem Mostert's definitely there to play a part, to have a role. I don't think it will be as noticeable as some folks may think it's be, that they do run that 1-2 punch. But Jeanty, like you said, he gotta have like a Derrick Henry type of workload to be justified to be going where he is in the first round of some of these drafts.
And like Marshawn, if we being real, like Marshawn is always been good, right? But he's like a 1,200, 1,300 yard back. Honestly,
with
like
no
I know
catches. Yeah.
we and he did, like 30 catches. He just wasn't a guy that was getting like 1,500 plus when he was in Seattle. So I think it's easy to be like, if he's the next beast mode, and that's fine. You can be a great all pro type running back, but like I think sometimes it's also what was that all pro running back? And I know maybe he's a better prospect than Lynch, but I don't know, bro. I just think that he's going very high. And I think the other running backs that go, like, give me Jonathan Taylor way after him.
Like you remember the years where everybody was pushing up Miles Sanders at that 110 through the 112 spot. I know you remember those years CEH was getting hyped up to that 110 to 112 spot. This might be Genty. Like I hate to say it, but like that's how it feels. And like we do this all the time with wide receivers we spoke about. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. Like we repeatedly do these things, and then it's like we don't identify the red flags. And again, I'm on board with you, bro. Like I see the hesitation in Genty. I'm not taking him off the board. And like if it ain't Bijan, I'm not taking him running back in the first round. That's just flat out in stone for me.
And even remember Bijan, same thing happened with him. I think he was RB10 on the year, and he was going as a top 3 running back that year.
And with the, I'm telling you, folks got to stop playing with the fantasy streets boogeyman, bro. That is Arthur Smith work right there, bro. That's him getting Tyler Algier all these touches on the goal line for what? Like, I know Cuz just ran for 1,000 yards, the most since Devontae Freeman. Like, Tyler Algier is a guy, like, he could be the dude, but this is Bijan. This is a freak athlete. This is a tier where we could talk about him with Saquon.
I'm just glad they figured that shit out, because it was looking bad. I'm like, well, even last year, the start of the year, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why y'all draft him then? Like,
what are y'all doing? But nah, that's Zach Robinson on the sticks over there. You know, he fall very close to that Sean McVay tree, so he knows and understands the agenda. Get the ball in Bijan's hand.
Facts. What is the lineup requirements for this? This is a 3 receiver, 2 flex lineup. If you want to do a different mock draft after this, I'll have time for one more. Just make sure you throw what you want in the chat. It'll probably be a 10-second speed draft, though. We're going to do a speed draft after this one. JHEN, just tune in. We're doing another. Yeah, so we'll do another. It'll be a speed draft, though. It ain't going to be the full 30 seconds. It'll be a 10-second clock. JHEN, I see Rice climbing up boards. Now I did a mock with randoms, and someone took him at the turn. I'm not mad at him going at the 2-3 turn. That's about where he's going in underdog right now. And I think the expectation is, like, if you don't take him there, he has the upside to be a top 5 guy. It's just, what does he look like coming off of the injury? And is this receiver room a little bit too stacked for him to get the production that we're looking for? That's the only concern I have with them. I have him inside my top 15 receivers. I'm struggling to put him inside my top 10. That's where I'm at. So, and I don't mind if he goes there, but that's where I'm at.
If you are interested in him, you have to watch his entire offseason closely. And I say that because, again, these guys that come back from injury, check the social medias, check the beat writers. Like, how is he looking? Not how he's feeling. How does he look? Because how they feeling, they will lie to you straight to your face. How do these players look? Preseason is going to be very, very important. If he not playing, I'm going to feel some type of way, because we need to see something. And folks like us are taking a gamble on him. His ADP is going to climb come closer to August, and that's the sad part. But we know the potential, because that boy was on fire those first 3-4 weeks. Like, he was on, like, what? Bro, this is top 5 potential here.
It is top 5 potential. It's just, to me, it screams like, okay, if you're feeling good, looking good on tape, the tape looks good, you're probably in a very similar role. But I think this offense changes this year, right? Like, obviously, they were missing the explosive plays last year. I think we get more explosive plays. Xavier Worthy came into his own towards the end of the year last year, so I think he'll have a bigger role. Hollywood Brown wasn't even on the field. I know you don't like Hollywood Brown. I'm not a big Hollywood Brown guy either, but he wasn't on the field, and I think he's at least a guy, so to speak. And, oh, yeah, let's get Mahomes while I'm here, while we're talking about him. He's at least a guy. So I think that with this offense, Pacheco is back. He was out for a majority of the year. Travis Kelce wasn't himself for a majority of the year. Like, if this offense is explosive, like I think they're going to try to make it a little bit more explosive this year, then that means Rashee Rice may not have the same upside that we're thinking he did, because they needed him a lot early last year. They leaned on him a lot.
That is true. That is a perspective that isn't accounted for a lot for where his ADP is at right now. But
I might have to drop that as a post, bro. I might have to drop that one.
You might have to, because, again, not a lot of folks are looking at it like that. But my stance is, though, because I'm not a huge Hollywood Brown believer. Even if Hollywood Brown was out there, I don't think he would even fit the orbit of what Rashid Rice is able to do talent-wise. That's my only pushback on that.
Yeah, it's just they said the receiver room was the same as last year. It just wasn't healthy last year, and I think it wasn't where it is this year. Kelsey obviously was not the same Kelsey. They said he came into camp about 15 pounds down. You got, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. You got Hollywood Brown, who was hurt. I kind of went over already, and then they drafted. I always forget his name. And they drafted receiver, speed guy, another speed guy this year in the draft. What's his name? Chiefs receiver.
Jesus, what?
Why can't I think of his name right now? It's gonna piss me off when you say it too. Chiefs got another speed guy, high-end speed guy. They were looking at Isaiah Bond, and then when stuff went wrong with him,
Jalen Royal.
Jalen Royal, yes. So I think
he's low key like a Juju. Like he could be a Rice, like in that role. Like I feel like the room is very crowded, but what will stand out come August is talent, and like how guys are looking on tape. Like I think the function of this offense is hard to pinpoint, but there's a lot of upside on this offense because you got Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback.
Yeah, I have him in that like T. Higgins range of like upside receivers, but like not necessarily the wide receiver one type of upside.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Mixon's injury right now? I'm not concerned about that until we see him missing training camp. Most injuries I'm not worried about until we get to like midpoint of preseason.
Bro, they got 5 weeks between OTAs and training camp. This is where contracts and rehabs and all that stuff get situated. Like if
there's no point in him being on the field right now.
No.
We will get another mock, Sonny G. It'll be a fast one though. You like JSN or McConkey more at the value? And I want to talk about that Juwan Jennings pick in just a second. But you like McConkey or JSN more at their value? Who do you like more at their value? I think we've had this question a couple times now.
Yeah.
They like the same to me, bro.
Yeah, because I feel a certain way about Ladd. And I don't agree with, like, again, he's getting pulled up. And I fear once we get closer to the folks that's coming outside, for redraft in August, that his ADP might get ridiculous, bro. Like we might be seeing him going on the early turn of the second round, like how folks are seeing. Like I think Ladd probably hit his ceiling, like this is what we're going to get. Those touchdowns everybody keep leading their argument with, you can't depend on touchdowns. Like you can't sit there and like try to predict that the touchdown volume is going to be there for him because again, nobody knows that. But more so, I'm looking at situational targets for Ladd, like that's really what it was. Like Quentin Johnson, failed project. Will Disley was your third target. Come on, bro. What's the
Johnson wasn't that bad last year. From an efficiency standpoint, a separation standpoint, I get the advanced stuff.
Separation rate. Oh, here's blown coverage gets added to that target separation rate, brother.
Yeah, I get it.
I just don't feel as though like he has the same upside ceiling as JSN. Like we could be talking about JSN as a top 12, top 10 wide receiver.
I don't got him that high, but it wouldn't shock me if he got there. Like you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of player I think JSN is.
And Sam Darnold. Like I think Sam Darnold's better than Geno Smith. Like straight up, I could tell you that offhand. Like I think that's a better fit, for JSN to hit those ceilings.
Yeah, I got JSN over McConkey, and they're like, I think I have him like 19 and 20 in my ranking. So you tell me which one you like more. It doesn't really bother me at all. Saquon was that guy last year. Will he repeat? Interesting question here, because I have long been a big Saquon advocate. No matter what, right? Like I'm Saquon no matter what. At the one spot, I don't like taking him because I just think Bijan has a little bit more upside. That's really the main reason why. So will he repeat? He could. Is it likely? He was clean last year. And for running backs, especially older running backs, even if it's not season-ending injuries, typically back-to-back clean years, none missed games, that's a concern to me. Saquon, maybe at the second or third running back, but
here, I got a stat for you real quick. I just had to feed Kyle Brandt this morning on Good Morning Football. Now, running backs, there's like obviously there's.
For those who don't know, hold on. For those who don't know, Quan is part of Good Morning Football. Y'all show him some love. Big time over here. We got big time over here.
Stop that, bro. Stop. So I had to feed him this stat. There's obviously 9 running backs have run for 2K in a single season, right? Now, he wanted to know the running backs, how did they look the following season? Now, obviously, Saquon, 2,000 yards. We both agree there's going to be regression in some area. Barry Sanders, after running for 2,000 yards, the following season, he ran for 1,491 yards. That is still great production. That's the type of season that I think Saquon's going to have. And again, that's not terrible. That's not like anything to say like, oh, Saquon's going to suck. No, it's just that it's going to take a step back. Touchdowns, that tush push might get used and abused. So we are relying on the targets and receptions out of Saquon. We know how explosive he could be. He could hit a 70-yarder at any point in the field. That's just what it is, you know? Like
another thing with Saquon versus like Bijan. Bijan obviously got the green light last year. Like they said, okay, it's time to unleash Bijan towards the end of the year with Michael Penix. We're going to see that again. But with Saquon, there's something we're not really talking about, and the fact that this team did have a very long season last year. They got to the Super Bowl. Guess what Saquon's trying to do? I guarantee it. Probably trying to win another Super Bowl and keep his body right for this year. So what did the Eagles do? They already drafted Will Shipley last year, who's probably going to get extended run, and you go get another body in A.J. Dillon, a guy who's been a proven backup in the past. So it's not – I don't think this team is going to be like, hey, we absolutely got to lean on Saquon again this year. You got A.J. Brown for a reason. You got Devontae Smith for a reason. You got Dallas Goedert for a reason. You go and you sign these other running backs like – I just think that this offense, I love Saquon to death, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does RB1 it. That's fine. If he goes and RB1s it, I'm just not going to take him at that spot, unfortunately. That's where it's at for me. I'm like, I love Saquon to death. It's just I don't want to take him at the number one running back spot.
Absolutely not, man. I can't agree with you even more because, again, I'm not doing it. If it ain't Bijan, I'm not doing it. It just don't feel right. It just don't feel right.
Meant to ask you this real quick. It's your turn, though. It's your turn. I want to ask you this real quick about JHEN Jennings. So when you're done with your turn, go ahead and make a pick. And then
I'm done. I got my guy.
You already knew who it was. Okay.
Yeah.
JHEN Jennings right now is interesting because there's a lot of people who believe in him. And then there's also most ADPs who have him down in the wide receiver 40 range, right? So he's at a really good cost, had almost 1,000 yards last year, should have had 1,000 yards before he got kicked out of the last game last year. But he's a player that's interesting to me because you get a lot of different things with him. He's going to break out. He should be going much higher than he is. Or you get the people, maybe I would say I'm on this side of it, the people like me who are saying, okay, well, Christian McCaffrey's back now. Brandon Ayuk's going to be back at some point of the year. The team wants to use Ricky Pearsall more. Which side of the fence are you on when it comes to JHEN Jennings? Did you just like the value or are you a believer?
I'm a believer and I like the value. Now, last season, we saw Brandon Ayuk start off kind of slow. Now, Brock had to build this chemistry with Jennings, who was, again, he had the same amount of catches as Ayuk. He had the same amount of production in terms of like targets and volume, but he had more yards. There's more explosiveness to him to where I feel like with Debo out of the way, there has to be a factor there for you have to design manufacture these touches for JHEN to be the type of like Rashad Bateman type of this offense. Like there's going to be long balls. There's going to be short to the line of scrimmage. Like he could do a little bit of everything, but just with Debo out of the way, you take away that explosive factor. Ricky Pearsall, we don't have enough of him to be a guy. We have his college tapes, that one-handed, pretty Ricky, smooth operator with the route running. Great. He's a Kyle Shanahan guys, but we have not seen enough to prove that he is worth taking off the board at the value that I'm getting JHEN Jennings, who had 113 targets, ladies and gentlemen. The volume is there for him to compete with George Kittle to be a valuable function of this offense.
I hear you. And the thing with JHEN Jennings that I guess as you make your next pick, the thing that I'm probably most concerned about when it comes to JHEN Jennings is like the other pieces are back. This offense is back. And yes, he was reliable, like especially on third downs. He's been that guy, but typically Brandon Ayuk's that guy. So Brandon Ayuk comes back week 4, week 5, week 6. I think it just lowers what JHEN Jennings can do. And partially, I think we're only talking about JHEN Jennings maybe he's going at a good spot. But like above, Jerry Jeudy or above Brandon Ayuk, the reason why we're talking about that is because he had 2 big games. He really had 2 games that kind of like elevated his fantasy, his fantasy finish. So I hear you. And yes, I think that the offense needs him. But as a Niner fan, it's like I kind of know, okay, my gut says that Pearsall is probably going to get more involved, Debo-ish type role. And Brandon Ayuk, once he comes back, is a top 15 receiver in the league at minimum.
I hope. Because that boy was he was looking cooked those first couple of games, brother.
Yeah, hey, you're right about that though. You're right.
He was looking
Right.
cooked because he was off on the sidelines. That holdout played against him. And again, he's come back from injury now, and we don't even know expected timetable when he's coming back. So I'll enjoy the value for, again, this is what roster build is for. Like, what is he? My wide receiver 4?
4, yeah.
Bro, I could stick him in any bye week and let him cook because, again, I'm getting a guy who at least has competition to be a top 2, top 3 target share of a freaking Kyle Shanahan offense. Like,
Right.
he's a birthday twin here, bro. I know what y'all got going over there. Y'all the ops, but keep your enemies closer, bro. I know what's going on.
Dunze drafted over DJ Moore. Is that crazy? Yeah, Dan.
Yes.
I really like Romo Dunze this year. But it's like you got to show you too. The only way it wouldn't be crazy is if training camp comes and we're just like, oh shit, we thought we had the number 1 as DJ Moore, and we see something different. Then it's time to change the rankings. But for now, I think it's a little premature to take Dunze over DJ Moore. I'm not mad at it. I just think it's a little premature.
Yeah. Well, something will have to warrant that. Like, literally, like a beat writer has to be like, oh my God, Roma Dunze has been said to be like, it would literally have to be that level. Like, I'm not too sure we get that.
Pacheco is a great value in 6. He was playing hurt till the end of the year. Are we really expecting Hunt or Smith to take the TD work away? No, I think I've been off of Isaiah Pacheco going as like a top 12. He kind of, Isaiah Pacheco was for me is like Bucky Irving, like kind of like up there where like I don't really believe in the player, but I think at value I would take him. And Pacheco, I mean, you're getting a very strong RB2 in my opinion, outside of the top 25 running backs.
With Matt Nagy on the sticks, man, like he gonna throw the ball to his running back, so you do get some presence of PPR upside. But you already know I'm rolling my dog from Brashad Smith to be making some noise this camp, so we'll see what happens there.
Yes, we will, man. I'm gonna start reaching on some guys that I'm kind of.
Ooh, what you know about Tennessee, Mr. Jalen Wright? Okay,
Jalen Wright. I like Jalen Wright, man. I think that obviously the one thing I haven't talked at all about though about Devon Achane, because I really like Devon Achane. I feel like there's a role for another back on this team. It's who is the other back. Now, I have not even really thought about this, and I didn't really think about it until I saw his name on a Dynasty free agent waiver wire. I was like, they signed Alexander Madison. What if he's the backup? And I know I do not like Alexander Madison. I've been fade Alexander Madison to the moon. But what if he's not bad as a backup?
What if it's Ollie Gordon? That's a name that ain't been floating in the fantasy streets either. And again, 2023, Ollie Gordon was projected to be the number 1 prospect outside, but 2024 happened, obviously off-field issues and confidence in a different design of that offense. He's a sneaky watch list guy, a waiver wire ad that might pop up week 6, week 7 if he start getting some burn. But again, this is all going to have to go down to training camp to see what's going on, because you're right. There is a room for a second running back, because initially when Devon Achane was drafted, it was the Mostert and Achane show. There's always going to be that type of role for that backfield to where there's going to be another guy that can eat. We're all hoping that it's freaking right, because at the end of the day, I look at it as like, if Jalen Wright get loose, I got a lot of shares of that boy.
Me too, man. It's weird though, because if it was Madison, I don't think he's great, but like he's been productive at times in the past. So I'm like,
when he was wearing that gold and purple, that Raider
was
disgusting. Yeah. For the Vikings, that Raiders run was disgusting. It was him and that old line and Zamir White and what's cousin's name? Sincere
McCormick.
Yes, I had to look up and see if that was a real person. I'm like, yo, who is this dude?
Something about it. I can't live with myself. Lad is my wide receiver 1. Hell no, I can't do Lad as my number.
Wildin'.
Can't do Lad as my 1. He's a part of Good Morning Football. I used to always watch the show before high school. Nate Burleson was great. Is he still on the show?
Yeah, nah, Nate, he elsewhere, man. He getting to the big bag.
Hey, man. Oh no, he's doing like Good Morning America, isn't he?
He's doing Good Morning America, CBS Sports. He on Nickelodeon. That boy is trailblazing for folks like us.
Went from wide receiver 2 to live in prime time, man.
To talent 1.
Yeah. He didn't need to be straight hand Hall of Famer. He was like, shit, I'm just good at this sideline shit, man.
Yeah, man. He getting to that moolah, bro. Like he's on a different level right now. And I look up to folks like that, man. That could be us. It could definitely be us, man. He's setting the blueprint. So
See, I don't know, man. I might be here in my hat and t-shirt doing my own thing, bro. I don't know if they're gonna let me in on those big boy channels,
bro. Yes, they is. Stop playing. Man, if they let me from Jersey, man, man, what? Trenton, New Jersey. That's my hometown. That's my love. I'm from the town and I love it there. If they let folks like me that talk like me, that walk like me, that act like me, that look like me, bro, the door is open for all of us, man.
That's what's up. How long you been out here in Cali?
3 years now, man. 3 years, and I ain't going back. I love home, but I ain't going back. The West Coast is the best coast.
He said, they not like us. They not like us. Bro, full LA.
Oh, man. Look, if Jersey in the chat, bro, I'm sorry. 609, I love you, brother. But God damn, I ain't going back. I am here to stay.
Oh, bro, that got me weak. All right, last pick for your boy. Let me see what I'm going to do here. Ooh, I like Cam Penix. I like getting another quarterback, but I'm definitely not grabbing one. We're going to get Kyle Pitts here just because you was talking shit earlier. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts just for the upside.
Bro, if again, I was praying for a trade this year. He needs a fresh start. Like, I was hoping he was going to go to the Chargers. Like, I was hoping he was just about to be shipped off, but all right, let's run it back. Let's see, man. I mean,
I'm hoping for better things.
Optimistic.
He's only 24 still. Like, he's still super young, bro. And it's a contract year. Like, I don't know. A couple questions I got here in the chat. How excited are you for the season, Big JHEN? Which part specifically? I'm excited for the season, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know which parts are excited. But I'm excited overall in general, and I think this season is going to be full of a lot of talent fantasy-wise. Like, this is about to be a very fun fantasy year, and I think if guys can stay healthy this year, there's going to be some very high scores, very high outputs this year in fantasy.
The quarterback's got to stay healthy this year.
Yeah, a lot of talent in the league right now.
Fact.
Jay, would you rather have Kamara, BTJ, Tet, or Bucky, Ladd? I'm assuming that's redraft, one flex, one quarterback in a 10-man league. That's Brian Thomas, Tet, Kamara all day, every day, twice on Sundays, bro.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah. No.
And if purely just for the upside floor combo you have in BTJ and Kamara, and then you get more upside with Tet versus like Ladd and Bucky, you're drafting them kind of at ceiling costs right now.
Ceiling costs, yeah.
When you release the rankings this season, probably very soon. Very soon. My goal is by the end of the month.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Now, the goal, honestly, the goal would be like the 20th. But you didn't hear that from me.
Look, that's going to be in the midst of training camp, boy. That's where I'm trying to hit.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good spot to drop it. Everybody's looking for stuff, for information.
Everybody dropping on 4th of July. I'm like, chill out. Too early, brother.
Like,
chill out.
They trying to set the draft guys. I ain't mad at it, though.
What? You going to be editing like a mug first 2 weeks of training camp. You're going to be editing.
Bro, even last year, like I dropped mine on the 31st of July, and it was like, I had to update this week. Can you get me the updated rankings? It's a lot to update, man.
And ask me how I know, because last year was the first year that I actually wanted to drop some rankings to the public for the free to go out there just to see where my mind at. And I dropped it a little too early to where, like, hold on, let me get that back. Don't worry about that. That's
make sure to go get Laquan's rankings as well, man.
Man. Check me on Blue Sky, man. I've been doing some exclusive stuff over there where I've been dropping little hints and stuff on Blue Sky. So Laquan Jones at Blue Sky, if you on there, man. I'm trying to build another platform over there to catch another audience. I got some vibes over there, though, man. It's kind of cool over there.
Really, I'm not on there yet, so
yeah, bro. I got to like 2,000 followers quick. Because people looking for something new, people are looking to engage, and Twitter could be toxic, bro. We already talked about that. Like it could be a little weird over there. So Blue Sky, I'm finding my ground, and some cool folks over there that you could just mingle and talk to about fantasy football.
All right, I might do to make my way on over there.
Oh, you ain't on it? I thought you was
not even on it. Bro, I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok and YouTube. I feel like anything else is like you got a little bit extra out of me. If you see a tweet from me, You got some extra
The
love.
only time I jump on Blue Sky is like if I'm at the airport or like I'm just chilling, relaxing. Like I'm trying to have a normal gauge of like where people at in fantasy. Like you ain't gonna have to deal with the people that's on there with that rah-rah. Like it's really cool. Like my experience so far now. So we chilling.
Good. All right, and then can you give us your top 3 try-hard starting running backs for 2025? I'm not ready for that yet.
What does that mean? 3 tryhards, like what? Like
so try-hard is basically like I think I told you what it is. It's basically like you only have a certain amount of output, right? But people think you can have a higher ceiling. So like a Damian Pierce to me was a try-hard because he did a lot. Yeah, I'm talking about your boy. I know, I'm talking about your boy. He was a try hard, and that's what happens, right? So
I see the criteria.
Some players, their like ceiling is kind of limited. I kind of think like Jalen Warren fits in that like try hard.
Oh, what? That's every year. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, he's asking me for my top 3 starting running backs. Let me think about that. DeAndre Swift might be in there. Let me think about that one.
I think he got upside though. Maybe Aaron Jones.
Yeah, this is why. You're gonna be part of the crowd because everybody's saying this is DeAndre Swift year. I'm just like, I
ain't saying it's a breakout top 10 smash. I'm talking between top 12 and 15 because that's definitely on the table with this offense, bro. It's definitely on the table. He's the lead running back.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think even if he's a lead, you get Ben Johnson in there who likes to run multiple backs. We're going to get some Roshan Johnson.
Yeah.
Other kid out there, other kid is nice too.
Manungai.
Yeah, he's nice too. So it wouldn't shock me like DeAndre Swift has been in that offense before and not seen, he's had great stretches, but the only time we've really seen him be fantasy relevant was behind that Philly O-line. And it's not like this Bears offense has a great O-line. And they have hella weapons. I don't know.
He was top 15 in Ben Johnson offense, though. Like in PPR leagues,
that's in Detroit though too.
Yeah, but again, this is the mind of what the structure of the scheme is going to be. We have to find the functions of his offense since there's question marks. There's an absolute obvious like 1-2 punch of this backfield that is going to happen. If it's Roshan and Swift, if it's Kyle Manungai and Swift is in both of those formulas. So I look at it like that.
We'll see. I
feel like come on, bro. I ain't trying hard on no Swift.
Try hard, bro. All right, let's get this. You guys want to get this other one going? Let's go. This is going to be 10-second clock. I'm going to go from spot 4. Sending that invite over right now to you. 10-second clock on this one. And we're going to go not 2 flex this time. We're only going to do 1 flex this time. And let's make this a half-point PPR. This will be half-point PPR. 10-second clock. Only 1 flex.
I'm sitting back. Let's see how this falls.
12 teams, 10-second clock. These speed drafts, bro, you got to be on. The thing is, it's hard with these speed drafts, bro, because when we be talking to, it's like,
I'm setting the queue. Oh, man.
I didn't change it to half-point PPR.
Something happened with the ADP. You might have.
Is that better?
Yeah.
That's half-point. Yeah, half-point. Good call, guys. All right. Links up. Half-point PPR, your strategy change? Mine does. Slightly.
For running backs, yeah.
Yeah, for running back. I'm more likely to start in half-point PPR, I'm more likely to start a running back at my flex. So unless the running back is just not as good as the receiver.
And the thing is, I don't think there's like a huge handful of like pass catching running backs as much as it was in the past either. So it does change some things up.
It's weird because it seems like that might be a trend. Like there's 2 clear backs now instead of just being one who, like a James White, who's a pass catching back with like a lot of upside, or a Darren Sproles, a Danny Woodhead. We don't really see these like 8 to 9 to 10 catch running backs anymore. We're seeing more of like just we want to run the football. Our starting running back can catch a little bit. Our backup running back catches a little bit more. But it's not like this huge dynamic where it was like ground and pound, touchdowns with one back, only pass work for the other one. Like I feel like that's kind of changed, especially with these guys lining up in the slot a lot too.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a different bag. It's definitely a different bag, man.
All right, we ready, guys? Draft starting.
On the clock.
Speed draft. See, I never get Bijan here, man.
He ain't make it out of that 1-2, bro. Like I've seen him go 1 and Chase go 2 in some of these mocks and some of these best ball drafts. Like it's a thing, man. He's that dude.
He is that dude, bro. Shout out to Bijan Robinson. Shout out to Bijan, bro. Shout out to Bijan.
Mustard on the beat.
I got that Bijan jersey. Bijan it's Bijan, isn't it? That's how you
Bijan. Is he off?
I'm still saying Bijan. Emphasis on the B. Bijan.
Bijan.
Rating team. Sorry, we are not going to be rating teams today. No team rating. Team ratings will come once training camp gets here. Jay and I've been drafting heavy RB this year due to wide receiver depth. Do you think that is smart? Ideally, in half-point PPR, 1 flex leagues, I've been leaving the first 4 rounds with 3 running backs. Is that ideal? If you start 3 receivers, I would say no. I would say I don't think it's ideal unless the right running backs fall to you. It all is, do you get the right value? More so than position, it's do you get the right value?
Right value.
Are you on that typical one where it's like, yo, in half-point PPR, you gotta really attack this running back position, or in the first few rounds, do you kind of just take like best available in your head?
Best available. You got to take what's given to you in half-point PPR and like make sure that, again, you change your strategy when it comes to these running backs. We spoke about it a little bit. Hold up. I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock.
It's quick too. You ain't got time to think.
You don't. So I just got to go with Hill again. I'm going to smash that every time. If I'm not getting London, you got to go Hill. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I love getting Hill right there. Yeah, I don't get no value in my draft, bro. Never. No value.
No value in Justin Jefferson.
No, but I ain't value. That's normal ADP for him.
Nah, I'm just saying that's what you ended up with.
Oh, yeah. What's good, JHEN? How's your day going, brother? Hey, my day is going great, bro. Going great, man. Get to talk ball. My boy LQ. We here, you know what I'm saying? We chilling, bro. So this is good, man. Talk ball with all y'all guys, man. And we got, almost less than a week, bro. I think training camp starts next week on Tuesday, right? Or Monday.
The rookies start reporting, yeah.
Start
reporting.
So we got football coming up.
It's right around. We'll be here before you know. Pretty soon, you like, damn, that went by quick. Where the season go?
Yeah. Oh shit, it's my pick.
Quick you come.
I'm over here talking. Marv, here you come, bro. Oh my gosh, 3 receivers. I meant to get the running back there. Somebody in the comments is gonna be like, Justin, you just talked about how you take running backs all the time. The rewatch. Some people on the rewatch, they'll be like, why did you do that? I'm like, bro, this 10-second clock will do that to you, man.
10 seconds, bro. You be talking for 4 seconds, it'd be over. You can't make a decision.
He took my pick. So if you're watching and wondering why I took Marv, I would have took Brees right there. So I was thinking Brees even last round, but it was too early. K-Walk, I ain't mad at that.
But I took Cook last time.
I ain't mad at that.
Trying to change it up.
Jan, start 2 receivers, 1 flex. Is that justified in that case? I'm not mad at that. If you go running back heavy and it's only 2 receivers, it's just make sure you get, if you're going to do that, my suggestion would be to find 1 elite guy. Like, make sure the receiver you get is elite. Like, once you get past this,
tiers are important.
Yes. Like, where do you consider the last elite receiver? Like, and when I mean elite, it's not Jamar Chase, like not just them, but like they could be a top 5 receiver. Where do you think's the kind of the benchmark for you?
Damn, top 5 receiver, the benchmark.
Like where they could be top 5. Like Tyreek Hill's in that category to me.
AJ Brown. I'll probably stop at Terry, right? Yeah. Like top 5?
Yeah.
I'll probably stop at Terry.
Shit, hold on a second. Hold on. You on auto?
Well, damn.
Yeah, it's quick, bro.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on.
Unless you wanted Brock.
Hell no. Hell no.
Hell no. In the 4th, though? In the 4th, it ain't shit.
Nah, that is. Yeah. Well, I'm good. I got to practice what you preach unless I get Unless I get new information, man.
Hey, I don't know. I'll be in flow state, though, bro. Not the flow state that I ain't in flow state, but in these drafts, I'll be flowing like I'm probably gonna take Brock right here if he's there. I was thinking in this round,
There you
it's
go.
not bad.
There you go.
Yep, he there.
Served up. That's where he should be going.
This is where he should be going. Facts.
Exactly.
I don't mind Brock there.
Well, there go Trey. I was about to say, I wonder where Trey go. He probably go on this turn, but he went before the turn.
Yeah, that tight end love. Everybody's like, oh shit, that tight end love. Damn, he going receiver heavy.
Soon as one get drafted, that's what's going to happen. I'm surprised
the run starts.
Didn't happen.
All right, running back time. Pacheco is coming home.
Boom, that's the cutoff. I'm not touching.
That's the cutoff?
That's the cutoff right there that I would. Just based on the upside and usage and opportunity, bro. He stay healthy, then you're looking at a guy that could reach those heights.
Yeah. Because I feel like you get down here, Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, shared backfields. Judkins is interesting. I just don't know what kind of pass catching work he's going to get, but Judkins is really interesting.
Let's see.
You know what's crazy is they have their projections on here, right? I'm looking at them right now. Holy shit. I'm looking at the projections on Sleeper for Quinshon Judkins. 223 carries, 938 yards, and 6 touchdowns. You know what his prop is at right now on FanDuel?
Like
624 yards.
How?
That's free bread, bro.
How?
Quinshon Judkins is free bread this year, dog. Like
how? Whoa. How?
If he starts, I think that's free bread because I'm like, even Dylan Sampson, we know he's going to be the pass catching guy.
Yeah, like that's the Jerome Ford battle right there with Dylan Sampson. But Quinshon at 600, they must be expecting catastrophic things going on in Cleveland because god damn, that is literally free money.
Free money, bro.
That's a free spot.
You know what I'm saying? You watching, you the betting man, like that to me is one I think once we get to training camp, that number is going to skyrocket. I think that goes into the 800s once we get to training camp. Yeah. Or we see a preseason game, we see one preseason game with him in it, that number's going to 800 something.
Yeah, so. He is definitely going to get that right. Kevin Stefanski, though, like if you remember when he first got there, like Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb shared that backfield. Like they each had over like I think 175 carries, and like both of them were efficient in the usage. So that could literally be Quinshon and Dylan Sampson. So that's an underrated 1-2 punch combo that's going to be living out there.
I don't like taking Aaron Jones, but I got to right here. Just
feels nasty because you got the demon behind him, Jordan Mason. God damn, like I would be shit. Like I actually had the privilege to meet Aaron Jones, a couple months ago when he was doing the like media boot camp at NFL Network. So like I already see him posturing, to media. Like it's already on the way out. So like just having that information in my head, it's like, Jordan Mason, you comp.
I've liked Aaron Jones for a long time as my running back one as a value. It's this year I'm not in on I like him a little bit more than who was left here, but I'm not really in on Aaron Jones as much as I was in the past, man.
Nah, man. It's one of those things like he's been so reliable, but the end is here. The end is here.
You hate to see it. I got Tyron Tracy here. All right, let's see what we got here. Assuming people all go ADP, would you go running back or receiver heavy in a PPR 12 team, 2 receiver, 2 running back, 3 flex league? For me, this is wide receiver. Yeah, wide receiver. Yeah. Wide receiver.
Wide receivers.
More
of advantage.
Would you guys trade Hunter for Rice in Dynasty 1-for-1? You on the clock, by the way.
I don't know. That I don't know.
Rice and Travis Hunter. I think my situation would need to be because the problem that I have with Travis Hunter is he's already tied up to Brian Thomas for the next 4 years. Like Brian Thomas ain't going nowhere. So we know Hunter is not going to be the one on that team, probably at least. I don't think it happens at all, but at least for another 2-3 years. The other problem with that is we don't know what Rashee Rice looks like this. I think you'd have to be playing for the future with Travis Hunter. His role is just, it's not locked in. You have to kind of see his role. Yeah. We know what Rashee Rice's role is.
Like with Rice also to consider coming back from injury, the unknown, and then possible suspension in 26. Like, you might be looking at an ugly 2 years.
I think if I was win now, I'd probably just go with Rashee Rice, though. Look who it is. The homie Chris. What's up, Chris?
Chris Allen.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
I see nothing
Good,
but
brother.
top talent talking ball right now. You already know what it is, bro. Chris, man. Chris is on. I told you Chris was on the show yesterday, bro. It's good.
Yeah.
We talked positions yesterday, bro. It was a dope conversation, dog. Like when to draft certain positions. So yeah, Chris will be back. We got to do one where it's all three of us on the show.
Oh, bro. Yeah, I'm in there. Chris,
Yeah.
what up? Hit
Chris,
my
we got to
phone,
make that
bro.
happen, bro.
Yeah, man.
We got to make that happen. Shout out, if you missed the episode with Chris Allen yesterday, check it out. It's on the live tab. If not, if you missed it, we're going to have a replays coming up in the video tab. So you'll be able to see them a little bit later.
This is
I'm getting crazy value in this draft. Gabe, where you at? Gabe, where you at?
You see this tight end run?
I did not see the tight end run.
That's not weird. Laporta, John New, Kelsey, David Njoku, and then
Hawk. Hella high. Damn.
I had to take Hawk after I just realized that tight end run. I'm like, hold up.
Nah, you panicked. You panicked, bro. I teach that not to panic, and you panicked, my brother. What are you doing panicking like that? Panic, bro. No, at the value. Yeah, at the value though. Hawk. I like TJ Hawkinson.
I'm coming around on him because at first I was out.
You were out. So why were you out? Because I really like Hawkinson this year, but why were you out?
Because of the unknown with JJ. Like I get the JJ hype from in-house, but again, we haven't seen it. He hasn't touched the field yet. So like the spike weeks that we're hoping for from Hawk. How do we know at this point this doesn't hyper focus on Justin Jefferson and Addison, And like Addison might be facing suspension, but that's not a given. But at the end of the day, it's like there's still very two talented targets on this offense above Hawk in my eyes.
Yeah, but it's just O'Connell schemes him up so well, man. Like even when Kirk was there, and even last year, it's like he schemes him for like 8 to 10 targets a game. It's just tough to it's tough to pass on him. I was knocking it because I never go tight end run. Whenever I see the tight end run go, I never do tight end run. But I didn't realize you got Hawk out of that. It wasn't like
that's what
you got Hawk.
I got Hawk out of that. That's why I'm like, I have to right now. This is a must.
I don't want to, but
I think I should because it's going to get dark real quick. It's going to get real dark.
Yeah. Yo, JHEN season's about to be back. When can we find your draft guide when you make it? I'm telling you, they ready for it already, bro. I put out last year, I put out a 50-page draft guide. I know I put a lot of time into that. I'm putting a lot of time into this one right now. It's going to be on jhenfantasy.com when it's ready. It's not ready yet, though. So don't go there peeking yet. I don't even think it's anything good up right now. So, but JHEN Fantasy is on the way, just so y'all know. The website. That's where it'll be at. Sign up for the fantasy training camp yesterday. Let's get it. If you haven't got your invite to fantasy football training camp, make sure to go get that. Make sure to go get that invite. It's in the description, fftcamp.com. I'll be speaking there. LQ will be speaking there. We're going to have some elite analysis going on during those 2 days. So, you know what I'm saying? Get that. That's a ticket. If you're watching right now and you want an experience that you don't get this kind of experience, right? Most of the time, you got to get a draft guide. Right now, we're going to give it to you live and in person, talking about the things, not just rankings. We're going to talk about the things that'll help you win your league. So get your ticket.
Yes, sir.
0 wide receiver. Yeah, I've been going 0 wide out. Main 48 went 0 wide receiver. This is not good. I don't have a quarterback. Oh, I panicked.
Baker.
I panicked. I'll take it, but I panicked.
I panicked with Ibuka, Emeka Ibuka. So maybe the only one.
You know what? It's great. Baker around 11. I'll take it.
Absolutely. In 12 man. Like, I feel like he's going a lot higher in best ball, but like the value here is great.
Yeah, dude. I don't think there's 10. Has there been 10 quarterbacks drafted already? 3, 6. Damn, that was QB 8, 9. Sheesh.
That's honestly where he should be going. Like, that's solid. That's solid.
If I was to run it back, I would have took another receiver and then grabbed Justin Fields later.
I think I knew who you would have grabbed too.
Who?
You would have grabbed the Burden.
Luther Burden? Nah.
Yeah.
I'm not in on Burden. I was looking at Hollywood there as like a 5th, just in case.
Oh, as a 5th?
Yeah.
That's a smash. But no, I get the Luther Burden because I'm not like all excited. Like I honestly don't think he like wowed me, like everybody is watching the same highlight tape, going into the draft. Like, okay, he could be a gadget guy, but
Yeah.
can he win consistently downfield?
It's
No.
funny because Keenan Allen just got drafted in this draft right now. I'm like, they might have been better off just keeping Keenan.
That's kind of crazy.
You think that's crazy to say?
Keeping Keenan, I think there's a reason why they didn't, have him back. But I think once training camp signs, he'll sign somewhere. But I think he doesn't fit because in a way it was counterproductive between him and Roma Dunze operating. Because there's a lot of times it's like you're kind of dealing with the same receiver in a sense,
Yeah.
I hate that I took Samson here, by the way.
I hate that I just got auto-picked. Samson, I don't mind Samson though. Like, especially down here, because if he does have the pass catching chops they're talking about, he could be like a JHEN light. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he was his rookie year, where they're just like get him the rock about 50, 60 times, and then he'll get, another 400, 500 on the ground. Like, I'm not mad at Samson if he gets the number 2 role.
Word.
I'm actually encouraged by what they were saying. Like, they want to put him in the slot and kind of use him all over the field. That sounds like that, that Kamara-esque type. I'm not saying he's Kamara at all, but like that Kamara-esque type role. Like, I'm kind of interested in that.
He could be like a Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Like he can even get like the goal line carry. Like he's a guy that I think is quietly just going under the radar for a lot of folks.
Tony Pollard in Dallas, Jalen Warren in Pittsburgh, like just kind of that back that he has to earn that role. I'm not saying he's going to be that. He has to.
Yeah, because Jerome Ford is still in that room. Like it's still one of those things where like I'm not going to rate him off completely because again we don't know.
JM, I'm at team 7. I used a running back strat here, and I think I got punished for my wide receiver picks in 10 seconds. Pick 7 here. You got Brian Thomas, Genty, Kyron, and Chuba with Pickens, Ridley, and Myers. I'm not mad at it. And then ETN, Juwan Jennings, Hollywood, Andrews.
That's not terrible.
It's not bad. No, I think it's a good lineup. I would have rather had – if I was drafting your strategy, player-wise, I would have took Brian Thomas – I would have took Taylor or Jacobs over Genty right there as my first back.
Jacobs, 100%.
Yeah, and then I would have definitely took like Alvin. Kyron's not bad right there. I like Kyron there. Chuba Hubbard on the way back. I think this is where your strategy starts to fail.
I would have took more over.
I would have got a receiver right here. I have DK Metcalf even right there. I think that's where your strategy for me kind of has a hole in it because now
you still could have got Chuba.
Yeah, you could have got Chuba, but you could have got Chuba and Isaiah Pacheco. Like, that's how I think of that. You could have got the same caliber of player around later. Whereas the receiver went from DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, even Cortland Sutton to like George Pickens, Waddle, Flowers.
Yeah, because even D. Smith. And I think that's where it all went south. We learn from your mistakes. That's why we mocking.
That's why we mocking though. You got to try out the strategies, right? Like I think if you would have went like, I think you did right though. I think you did right. I just think that last running back, you're going to be hoping and praying that it's like James Conner that falls to you, or Joe Mixon that falls to you, or James Cook, Alvin Kamara. You're praying and hoping that running back falls to you. That's my only concern with that strategy as of right now. I don't like Chuba there, by the way.
I have to gauge him because I think he played amazing last year, but it's like he has to be like at the right price for me to pull that trigger because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably looking at a wide receiver where he's going.
Yeah. I think Chuba Hubbard, he was a good feel-good story last year. You got him for free. I was taking him instead of Jonathan Brooks last year and pleasantly surprised it worked out. But ADP and
unfortunately.
Value, unfortunately. Well, I didn't have any Jonathan Brooks. So for me, you had a lot of Jonathan Brooks last year?
In a few leagues, just based on him going as cheap as he was. Like he was supposed to be the league winner, coming out of the injury and tear it up. But that boy tore something else up.
Damn. Hate it had to be him. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard, I think he was more of like a feel-good story last year. And you got to take him in like top 16 to 18 running backs right now. It just feels a little pricey. And you bring in Rico Dowdle and his expected upgrade in the passing game. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see how that works out.
We will.
Again, the Panthers are just a big question mark to me.
Yeah, well, we talked about a lot today, bro. Got through 2 mock drafts, covered
Oh
a whole lot about stacks. If you guys missed the earlier portion on stacks, I'm gonna throw it up as standalone videos, but make sure to rewatch it. Other than that, you got anything else, Quan? Anything before we get off?
Nah, bro, we cooked today, man. Some great content and a lot of player analysis ironed out to see the gauge where we at on the spectrum. Because Trevor Lawrence, that boy better deliver. He better deliver, or that Brian Thomas Jr. he gonna suffer.
Yeah, I mean, hey, for as much Brian Thomas as I drafted in best ball, he better hit. So
yeah, man,
that doesn't
write a letter.
that does it for today, y'all. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I got Kendall on. Kendall's coming tomorrow. So
word.
Yeah. So I didn't want to
send my regards. Say what's up. Shout out to Kendall, man, over there at Fantasy Life over there with Chris Allen cutting it up, man. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, we trying to, got to run it up right now. Get this content before everybody gets busy. So
facts.
Until then, we will see y'all next time. Peace out.